Waiters slash waitresses of Reddit. What's the most awkward first date you had to witness firsthand? Not a first date, but we did have a guy come into our steakhouse on a Saturday night at 7 PM with no reservation. He then told us on the spot he was going to propose to his girlfriend. We had to seat them somewhere awful. It was right next to the bathroom, and when he got down on one knee, looking around nervously, absolutely no one noticed. Him and his GF kept waiting for the rest of the restaurant to see them and go quiet or even clap for them, but not a single person noticed. She said yes, looked disappointed, and they went back to dinner like nothing happened. They must not have minded too much because they came back for their 1-year anniversary. This time he made a reservation, lol. I had a guy ask me to take a video of him proposing to his girl. Everything went fine until it was time to review the video. Turns out, I never actually recorded. Fail, I died a little on the inside, but asked if he wanted me to record the entire thing again. Since it was definitely staged, real proposal but staged. He politely said no. I apologized once more and left awkwardly. I worked at a higher end restaurant as a busser for a while, and eventually was given a chance to serve in the bar area while a jazz band played. Most of the tables were just drinks and appetizers. My first shift, a woman in her 40s or 50s came in with a tall, dark, and handsome guy no older than 30. Nothing wrong with that in my eyes, but all of my interaction with them was the woman talking down to me on some sort of power trip, maybe to prove to her guy that she's an alpha female or something. Dunno, and her ordering everything for her date. They had cocktails, ordered a bottle of wine, and had a couple enters. She ordered ahi tuna, rare. She was very insistent on the rare, so much so that I put blue rare into the computer so everything would be fine. She sent back 4 separate plates, all too well done, to the absolute horror of her date. I informed her after the second that they wouldn't be taken off her bill, and she scoffed and made some comment about how she's loaded and it doesn't matter. After the 4 plates, she sent the last one back and asked for a shrimp cocktail instead. I left them to enjoy the music, brought the check, and when I came back to pick it up, her date was gone. And I don't mean went to the bathroom or went for a smoke. All of his things were gone, and he was nowhere to be seen for 30 minutes. She apologized to me and asked if I could take the ahi tuna 45 each off of her bill. Told her to pound dirt. Not really, but my manager did. Next day she wrote a 500-word review about me, using my first name, on the restaurant's Facebook page. My boss printed it out, framed it, and I still have it today, undefined. I would love it if my manager did that speak for me. I'm a chef and we get some ridiculous stuff posted on our Facebook. A favorite of mine is always complaints about well done steaks. Just saw one on Valentine's Day. The date seemed to be going very well. Actually, not awkward at all. They talked non-stop, no lulls in conversation. They were laughing, carrying on, and just generally having a good time. In fact, another server and I were laughing about how obnoxiously loud they were. Then I heard the gentleman say, "Obviously you're not still married, right? Please tell me you're not still married." She said, "Well, actually." And then things got very uncomfortable. It must not have been a deal breaker because they stayed at the restaurant another hour until we closed, but they were very quiet for the rest of the night. Hardly spoke to each other at all. This isn't just awkward, it's sad as hell. More sad than awkward. But here goes for context. I'm a woman in a long-term relationship and was not hitting on the girl or anything. One day this very cute 20-ish girl comes in, orders, and cheerfully asks me if we have any board games that are great for 2 people. I worked in a concept bar where we had 700 board games you could play as long as you ordered something to drink. I show her a few games. She chooses one and sits at a table near the entrance. 30 min later, she comes and sadly asks me if we have any games you can play alone. I give her one and tells her if her date doesn't come, I'll give her a free shot. Another 40 min later, she comes back. I give her the shot and we talk a bit. Then she goes back to her table to play by herself. It was a busy night. Otherwise I would have played something with her. She seemed nice and was obviously sad. The guy ended up showing up almost 2 hours late. Ordered a bit rudely. She paid for him. And they spent less than an hour talking. He wasn't interested in playing a game. And didn't really seem interested in his date either. He left early. She stayed a bit to talk with me as I started to clean up. I offered her another shot and drank one with her. And she left all sad. I imagine she was excited for her date and thought the Board James bar was a cute, fun idea for a first date. But the guy was so rude being late and not showing any interest. Just sad. She came back a few times with friends though and was really a nice girl. A board game bar would be an epic first date. I feel genuinely sorry for her. A teenage couple sharing an ice cream and holding hands very awkwardly. After they finished the ice cream they kept talking about their very adventurous sexual fantasies. They were around 14 years old. Super awkward to have to interrupt them to ask if they want anything else. My sexual fantasy when I was 14 was holding hands. 25 here. It still is. Didn't happen to me, but I was working while the bartender got to experience it. Guy and girl came in. Super weird chemistry all night. The guy is obviously trying to impress her by being a huge douche, and she looks like she's just pretending to not hate it, so the date will end faster. At the end of the night, she says she'll take an Uber home, and he awkwardly leaves without her. She then waits for the bartender to come back over, orders another cocktail, and asks for his phone number. How hot was the bartender lol? I had these two people that were there on a first date. After the appetizers this poor man got the speeds and was going back and forth to the bathroom all night. There was only a few other people in the restaurant at the time, so it was noticeable and they were chuckling every time he got up. I honestly felt so bad for the guy. What the hell did you feed him? Sugar-free Haribo gummy bears undefined. Also thanks for the awards. This is insane lol. Edit 2. Anyone know how to hyperlink? I want to make showing people the link easier. Edit 3. Thanks you / fix state. I can hyperlink now. D. I legit saw the guy try to roofie the girl. Like not even trying to be hidden about it. He did it right in front of me. The girl went to the bathroom and I was cleaning the table next to them. I saw him take the powder out and slip it inside the drink. Another thing too. It was a pizza place. Who tries to roofie someone in a pizza place? Undefined. Apparently a high school classmate of mine did this or other. Tried to a karaoke. Bartender also noticed. Warned the girl. And the girl acted normal to stall him till the cops got there. I wonder if he's in jail yet. I worked with a guy years back who pulled that speep with a karaoke. After we got off a closing shift one of us would go and grab a case of beer and a group of us would hang out and have a beer or two while about our day. We had some older creep who went off one day to buy the beer and hands one of the girls an open beer. As soon as she walked up, the beer had already been open and he kept it aside from the case. I usually gave her a ride home and the creep had told me earlier in the day that she had asked him to give her a ride home. When she told me she didn't feel good and asked if I could drive her home, he immediately started saying he was leaving and would do it. Nope. I took her straight to the hospital, and as soon as she blacked out I called one of the guys I knew was still there and told them not to let Mr. Creep leave, as I was calling the cops. It was honestly one of the few times I was really happy my father was a sheriff's deputy. Called, told him what was up, and the guy got arrested and charged. Later my dad told me they circled the block and ignored my coworkers beating the guy. She ended up okay. Turned out the creep had told her that I had said I hated driving her home. I do not tolerate people abusing people. I dealt with that speep all my childhood.